Good evening and welcome to tonight's district contest between the Whitehall Vikings and the Montague Wildcats. This will be the third meeting of the season between these two teams, Montague holding a 2-0 edge over the Vikings. The Wildcats are the defending conference champions and drew a bye in the first round, so this is their first contest of the tournament. The Vikings come into tonight fresh off a victory over Hart on Tuesday night. In a few moments we'll have the starting lineups.
Good evening and welcome to Hart High School, your host school for the 1988 Boys District Basketball Tournament. Tonight we have cross-state rivals, the Whitehall Vikings, taking on the Montague Wildcats. Before we introduce the starting lineup, we would ask you to please stand and face the flag for the playing of our national anthem.
Starting at guard, number 10, a 5'4" senior for the Vikings, Chip Williams. Starting at guard, a 6'1" junior, Paul Schloff for the Montague Wildcats. Starting at the other guard will be Mitch Foster, a 6'2" senior for the Vikings. Starting at the other guard for the Montague Wildcats will be Rich Erdman, a 5'9" senior. Starting at one forward for the Vikings will be Scott Corliss, a 6'2" senior. Starting at one forward for the Wildcats will be David Osborne, a 6'2" senior. Number 34, Andy Green, will start at the other forward for the Vikings, a 6'2" senior. And for the Wildcats of Montague, Jim Grieve, number 34, a 6'4" senior. And at center for the Vikings, a 6'3" junior, Michael Kirshen. And for the Wildcats, a 6'6" senior, Randy Lindquist. In a moment, we'll have the tip-off. Okay, both teams take the floor. In a moment, we'll have the start of tonight's contest. Jumping center will be Jim Grieve against Michael Kirshen for the Vikings. The tip is up. It's controlled by the Vikings. Michael Kirshen to Chip Williams. Chip brings the ball up court, and the Vikings go on the offense. Vikings looking to work the ball inside. Ball in the hands of Scott Corliss. Back out to Mitch Foster. Over to Chip Williams. Chip looks to set it up again. Pass in, Andy Green. And Andy puts up a jumper. And he sinks it for two. Wildcats on the attack. Pushes it in. Pass goes out of bounds off the hands of Randy Lindquist. Vikings ball in. Ball's inbounded. Corliss brings the ball out over to Green. Green brings it into the front court. Back to Corliss and over to Chip Williams. Chip looking to set up the offense again. Passes the ball around in the hands of Corliss. Goes to the top of the key, back over to Chip. Chip into Andy Green. Andy puts up a jumper off the iron. Lindquist with a rebound. And the Wildcats push the ball up court. And we have a foul. Foul is called on Chip Williams, his first, the team first. Wildcats ball in. And we have a three-pointer put up by Paul Schlaw. The Wildcats go up on top 3-2. Good pressure on the ball by the Wildcats. And the Vikings look to set up the offense again. Okay, a turnaround jumper by the 22, Scott Corliss. And the Vikings go up on top 4-3. Now we have a foul here called on the inbounds on Mitch Foster. It'll be his first, team's second. Wildcats ball in. We have a clarification on the foul. Paul Schlaw puts the ball inbounds, and the Wildcats are on the attack again. Jumper put up by Paul, short. Rebounds, goes out of bounds. Off the hands of the Vikings. It'll be Wildcats ball. Number 22, Rich Ergman in to Paul Schlaw. Ball back to Ergman. Over to Schlaw. Goes in, puts up a pass over. 34. Doesn't go, and the rebound's off to the Vikings. Scott Corliss with the rebounds, brings the ball up into the front court. Looks to penetrate, passes down to Andy Green, back out to Mitch Foster. Foster looks for an opening, sets it back out to the top of the key, and looks to set up the offense again. Over to Chip Williams. Fakes the three-pointer, puts it back out to Mitch Foster. Andy Green puts one up from just inside the three-point line that doesn't go. And the rebound's to David Osborne. Osborne pushes it up, comes to the top of the key, puts up a jumper. Doesn't go. Rebounded there by number 52, Randy Lindquist, who sinks it for two. With 5:34 left in the first quarter, the Vikings trail by 1. Okay. Montague's ball in. Ball will be brought into the front court by Rich Ergman. Rich looks to set up the offense here. Comes in, drives the top of the key, up the lane. And we have a foul called here. Looks to be on number 44, Michael Kirshen. It'll be Michael's first and the team's third. We put Rich Ergman at the line, shooting two. First one is up. the back of the iron, off the backboard, and out. Rich sets himself for the second one here. It's up, and he sinks it, putting the Wildcats up by 2. Score 6-4. Wildcats pressuring the ball all the way up court with a full court press here. Now they back off, drop back into their zone. Chip Williams does an excellent drive up the key to put the score at 6-6. Long inbounds pass here to Osborne. Osborne pushes the ball up court. And we have another whistle here. Foul will be on number 32, Mitch Foster. That'll be his second, the team's fourth. Mitch will take a rest, and coming into the game will be number 40, Scott Weaver for the Vikings. Urban brings the ball up court, pressured here by Chip Williams, and looks to set up the offense again. Long pass across, Nutter. Erdman, a good feed in to Randy Lindquist for 2 here. Wildcats again pressuring the inbounds, now drop back. We have a token pressure here on the inbounds. Now they set up, looks to be a man-to-man here right now. Andy Green with the ball, looks to drive the baseline, gets cut off, back out to Chip. To the top of the key to Scott Corliss, who puts up one. Off the iron, doesn't go. And the rebound goes over to the Wildcats. Randy Lindquist with the rebound. Rich Erdman brings the ball up again, looking to set up the offense, working on Chip Williams here. A long pass in. It was intended for Randy Lindquist to turn the wrong way, and the Vikings come up with the ball. Chip Williams again looking to penetrate, gets some getting pressure, puts up a jumper out here from about 14 feet out. It's Chip's 4th point on the night and makes it an 8-8 game. Paul Schloff goes end to end here. Doesn't make it, and we have a foul called on Paul. That'll be Paul's first and the team's first. Number 24, Brad Van Bergen, and number 32, Scott Thumser, entered the game for the Montague Wildcats. Andy Green inbounds over to Chip Williams. We have a pass up to Corliss. Corliss looks to bring it up on the attack again. Pass over to Chip, goes back out to the top of the key to set up the offense. Passes over, Corliss puts up a shot, and we have a foul called here on number 30, David Osborne. That's David's first, the team's second. We'll put number 22, Scott Corliss, at the line, shooting 2. With 3:17 left in the first quarter, we have an 8-8 ball game here. Corliss puts the first one up and sinks it. Put the Vikings up by 1. Corliss eyes it. Second one is up. Rings the basket. It doesn't quite go, and the rebound is out of bounds off the hands of number 44, Michael Kirshen. Montague Wildcats push the ball up the court. Long pass, lead pass in to David Osborne, out of bounds. Vikings ball. And again, the Wildcats pressure the inbounds. Number 24, Brad Van Bergen, working here on number 10, Chip Williams. Williams over to Kirshen. Kirshen drives the lane, puts up a shot, and it's off the glass and in. Put the Vikings up by 3 with 2:50 left in the first quarter here. The Vikings now starting to pressure full court here too. Lead pass up to number 32. Pass is deflected. A little bit of indecision here on the part of the officials. Nobody really knowing what happened there, and it'll be kind of a shaky call there. It'll end up being the Wildcats' ball. The inbounds is deflected out by number 22, Scott Corliss. Coming back into the lineup will be number 22, Rich Ergman, and number 30 for the Vikings, Tom Cheesley. Also coming in, number 24, Paul Shannon for the Vikings. Wildcats back on the attack. We have a long pass over here to Osborne. Osborne looking to penetrate, puts up a three-pointer. It's off the rim. Rebound off to number 40 here, Scott Weaver, and we push the ball up court. Jumper put up here by Corliss, doesn't go. Rebound by Weaver, puts it up, and we have a foul called here on number 24 for the Wildcats, Brad Van Bergen. Put Weaver at the line, shooting 2. Correction, it was not a shooting foul. Third team foul, so it'll be the Vikings ball in. Cheesley passes in to Paul Shannon. Shannon back to Cheesley. Cheesley moves to the top of the key to set up the offense here. Over to Corliss. Corliss looking to pass the ball in. Long lead pass over to Weaver, and Weaver puts up one from about 14 feet out for 2. Puts the Vikings up on top by 5, 13-8. We have a nice interception there on the inbounds pass there by number 22, and the Vikings are back on the attack. Cheesley looks to feed it in, gets the pass off. It's intercepted by the Wildcats. Come down and convert. Number 22, Rich Ergman on the conversion. Vikings looking to get this shot here, looking to get some penetration. Wildcats doing an excellent job of shutting off that center. Jumper put up by Michael Kirshen, doesn't go, and we have one out of bounds here. It's off the hands of the Wildcats, be Whitehall's ball. With 1:14 left in the first quarter, the Vikings up by a score of 13-10. Tom Cheesley looks to put the ball in play. Lead pass over to Corliss, makes a move on it, and puts up another jumper for 2. Nice move there by Corliss to get free. And the Vikings back up by 5. Vikings pressuring here, using a good trapping defense here. Looking to get this one. 3-pointers put up here by Osborne, and it drops. A little pressure here, and it's ruled out of bounds to the Vikings. Coming back into the lineup will be number 12, Paul Schloff. Paul Shannon will inbounds. Tom Cheesley. Tom will bring the ball into the front court, being pressured there by Rich Ergman. Back on the attack. Mike Kirshen over to Corliss. Corliss comes up, drives the baseline, and puts another one up. Vikings back up by 4. Vikings trapping real well here. A good drive on the basket by number 32 there, Scott Thumser, but he comes up short. Paul Shannon pushes the ball down. Tom Cheesley looks to drive the baseline, feeds it into Corliss, who goes up for 2 more. And the Vikings go up by 6 with 11 seconds left in the quarter here. Good pressure here by the Vikings, trying to deny the slash shot to the Wildcats. And the time runs out. Excellent defense here by our Vikings to shut this one down. At the end of the first quarter, we have the Vikings up by a score 19-13. The Vikings playing a considerably different game than what we saw in the last Friday's game against the Montague Wildcats, where they went out and fell down to about a 10-point deficit by the end of that first quarter. Tonight they're taking the ball to them, playing good, solid defense, crashing the boards, and we see a completely different Viking team out here. Scores for the end of the first quarter, Paul Schloff has 3. Rich Ergman has 3, Dave Osborne has 3, Randy Lindquist 4. For the Vikings, we're looking at Chip Williams with 4, Scott Corliss with 9, Andy Green with 2, Scott Weaver with 2, and Michael Kirshen with 2. Teams take the floor for the second quarter here. It'll be the Montague Wildcats ball inbounds. Right now, the only man with foul problems is Mitch Foster of the Vikings with 2. And we have a foul called here on number 40, Scott Weaver. Put number 12, Paul Schloff at the line. Paul will be shooting 2. That'll be Scott's first, the 15th foul for the Vikings. Paul puts the first one up, and he drops it. Paul sets himself and eyes the basket for the second shot. It's up, off the rim, and he gets the shooter's bounce, puts the second one down. A nice lead pass here by the Vikings, and we have a nice breakaway there, and a two-pointer by Scott Corliss. Gives Scott 11 on the night right now, the leading scorer in the game and for the Vikings. Vikings again pressuring this ball on the inbounds. The jumper put up here by number 12, Paul Schloff. The rebound is off to the Wildcats with the pass intercepted by number 44, Michael Kirshen. Vikings back on the attack. Tom Cheesley sets it up here, puts it into Corliss. And Corliss is called for the travel here. It'll be a turnover. Paul Schloff inbounds the ball to number 22, Rich Ergman. Schloff brings the ball up into the front court. Penetrates up to the key, puts up a jumper, doesn't go, grabs his rebounds. Deflected out, and Tom Cheesley comes up with it for the Vikings. Tom brings it up into the front court and looks to set up the offense again. Passes down to Scott Weaver, and we have a pushing call here on number 34, Jim Grieve. Coming back into the lineup for the Vikings will be number 34, Andy Green. At number 34, Scott Thumser, along with 24, Bran Van Bergen for the Montague Wildcats. That was the 4th team foul. Foul was on number 34, Jim Grieve. That's his second, and their team's 4th. The Whitehall Vikings ball inbounds. Andy Green sets it up. And we have a 5-second call. Good pressure by the Montague Wildcats to deny the inbound pass, and the Vikings turn the ball over. Number 24, Bran Van Bergen puts it in. A long pass over to number 34, Thumser. And we have a turnover here by number 22, Rich Ergman to the Vikings. And we have a traveling call called here on number 40, Scott Weaver. And the ball's turned back over to the Montague Wildcats. Coming back into the lineup will be number 22, Scott Corliss. Taking a breather will be number 44, Michael Kirshen for the Vikings. Wildcats inbound the ball. And again, pressure comes up. Passes off the hands of number 22, Rich Ergman, in the hands of Tom Cheesley. Oh! Shot was put up there by number 40, Scott Weaver. Didn't quite go, and the rebound is off to the Wildcats. Wildcats back on the attack, looking to set it up. Oh, we had a travel there, and we got away with it. Shot is put up there by number 22, Rich Ergman, who sinks it for 2. 6:18 left in the half. It's a 21-17 game in favor of the Whitehall Vikings. Vikings again working around. Andy Green puts one up out there, and a nice jumper by Andy from just inside the three-point line for true. Put the Vikings back up by 6. Vikings pressuring this ball real well here, and we have another turnover by the Wildcats. A little bit uncharacteristic of their game here from the first time we met and the second time. Rebound was off to Paul Shannon, who puts up his own rebound there. And the Vikings go up by 8. Wildcats looking just a little bit puzzled by this press, not handling it real well here. Vikings fail to control the rebound, goes back out. Second opportunity there, third opportunity here going up. And Corliss comes up with a rebound. Vikings back on the attack again. Some excellent rebounding here by the Vikings. Weaver puts up one. It's a little off the mark, and the Wildcats push the ball up court. Rich Ergman drives the lane. He's fouled before the shot. The foul will be on number 30, Tom Cheesley. It'll be Tom's first. It'll put number 22, Rich Ergman, at the line, shooting 1-1. Entering the game for the Montague Wildcats is number 44, J.J. Flynn. Randy Lindquist, oh, take it back. Lindquist is going to stay in the game. David Osborne takes a rest here for the Wildcats. Coming back into the game, number 10, Chip Williams for the Vikings. Wildcats at the line. First one is up, and it's good. 5:12 left in the first half here. The Vikings are up by 7, 25-18. Rich Ergman looks at the basket, puts the second one up, and it's good. Ergman will take a rest, and Paul Schloff comes back into the lineup for the Wildcats. Andy Green looks to inbound the ball, passes into number 10, Chip Williams. Wildcats trapping here, passes over to Andy Green, and Andy pushes it into the front court. Chip calls out the signals here, says, let's go team, it's time to score another one. Chip's looking at it, he's being pressured by number 44 there, J.J. Flynn. Vikings again looking to set it up. Over to Andy Green, who puts up a three-pointer out there. Puts the Vikings up by 9 with 4:41 left in the half. Vikings again pressuring. And good ball movement by the Wildcats. Gets a nice breakaway there to J.J. Flynn. And the Vikings return the favor on a nice breakaway there by Tom Cheesley for 2. Put the Wildcats back on the attack here. Number 12 brings the ball up for him, Paul Schloff. Vikings pressuring them at full court here. Real good pressure by us. Schloff goes in, drives the baseline, puts up a jumper for 2. Vikings bring the ball up court. Chip Williams. And we have a foul called here on number 44, J.J. Flynn. Both teams in a bonus situation will put Chip Williams at the line, shooting 1-1. 4 minutes left here in the first half. The Vikings are up on top by a score of 30-23. Coming back in the lineup for the Wildcats will be number 30, David Osborne, number 34, Jim Grieve, and number 22, Rich Ergman. Paul Shannon re-enters the lineup for the Vikings. Chip Williams at the line, shooting 1-1. Isaac, first one is up, and he drops it. Makes the score 31-23 in favor of the Vikings. Chip eyes the basket, the second one is up, and he drops that one too. The Vikings up by 9, and we're pressuring. Trapping the ball here. Pass over the trap, and back out. Wildcats again set the ball up. Number 22, Rich Ergman has it, looking to get the offense moving. A noticeable difference tonight is you're not seeing an awful lot of movement out here off the ball by the Wildcats, and that was one thing I think I've noticed real strong in the 2 previous meetings. They had excellent movement away from the ball. They seem to be a little flat-footed tonight. Long inbounds there, to get under the basket, was deflected, and the Wildcats turn it over to the Vikings. Chip Williams brings the ball up into the front court with 3:25 left in the first half. Paul Shannon puts one off the baseline, doesn't quite go, and the rebound is off to the Wildcats. Wildcats look to get a break going, but the Vikings dropping back excellently here on defense. Basket there by number 52, Randy Lindquist. Vikings had a couple opportunities there to control that rebound, but couldn't quite come up with it that time. Vikings working the ball around well tonight. They're having good movement away from the ball, which is making it very difficult for Montague to set up here and control them tonight. Maybe one of the bigger differences in tonight's contest against these two teams. The Whitehall Vikings showing some patience here. And we have a lane violation called on the Vikings. Turns the ball back over to the Wildcats with 2:32 left in the air. Coming back into the lineup, number 44, Michael Kirshen, and number 24, Brad Van Bergen. Also coming back into the lineup, number 32, Mitch Foster for the Vikings. With 2:32 left in this first quarter, the Vikings up by 7, 32-25. Schloff inbounds the ball to number 30 here, David Osborne. David holds the ball. Now we set back up on the offense again. Schloff working, drives up the key, puts up a jumper from the free throw line, sinks it for 2. Mitch Foster brings the ball up for the Vikings. Wildcats starting to trap quite a bit now on defense here. Chip Williams works on the ball, drives the lane. Good feed off here to Michael Kirshen, who can't control it. And the ball is off the hands. It looks to be off number 24, Brad Van Bergen. Be a Whitehall ball inbounds. Andy Green sets it up. Inbounds to number 32, Mitch Foster. Mitch drives across, passes into Mike Kirshen. Drops down on it. And the Vikings turn the ball over here. A minute 53 left. We're up by 5. Wildcats back on the attack. Brad Van Bergen passes it up to Lindquist. Lindquist passes back to Van Bergen. Van Bergen pass over to Paul Schloff. In the corner to Osborne. Down on the baseline to Randy Lindquist, who drops a nice little jumper there for 2. To bring the Wildcats back to within 3. Paul Shannon puts up the jumper off the front of the rim. Follows up his own shot. Doesn't sink it. And we have a foul called here on number 44, Michael Kirshen. It's Mike's second. We'll put number 34, Jim Grieve, at the line. Jim will be shooting 1-1. Corliss and Weaver re-enter the lineup for the Vikings. The minute 24 left in the first half. The Wildcats are making a run at the Vikings right now. It's a 3-point game with number 34, Jim Grieve, at the line. Jim puts the first one up and sinks it to bring the Wildcats to within 2. Eyes the basket. Second one is up. Off the rim. Rebound controlled by number 52, Randy Lindquist, And the game is knotted at 32-32. Both teams have a very strong following here tonight. It's almost a packed house and a lot of intensity shown here by the crowd. Mitch Foster makes a good baseline move, and he's fouled by number 30, David Osborne. Put Mitch Foster at the line, shooting 1-1. It'll be David's second foul. Coming back into the lineup, number 22, Rich Ergman for the Wildcats. With 58 seconds left in the first half. Mitch Foster at the line, shooting 1-1. First one is up, rings the rim. The rebound is off to the Wildcats. Brad Van Bergen brings it up. Doesn't get pressure, jumps there. Off the rim, the rebound off to number 34, David Osborne, who follows through and sinks it. Puts the Wildcats up on top by 2, a score 34-32. 33 seconds left here in the first half. The Vikings looking to take the last shot here. Mitch Foster goes down, drives it up, and the block shot here by number 52, Randy Lindquist. It'll be Vikings ball inbound with 23 seconds left in the half. Officials talking to the players out here, making sure nothing gets out of hand. Tom Cheesley has the ball, passes into Mitch Foster. Mitch looks to set it up, passes back out to Chip Williams. Chip brings the ball to the top of the key, passes over to number 22, Corliss. Corliss makes a move, puts it up, and the ball doesn't go. Wildcats pushing the ball up court with 3 seconds left in, over to number 52, Lindquist, puts up the shot, and it doesn't go. At the end of the first half of play, we have a 34-32 game in favor of the Montague Wildcats. Wildcats were down by as much as 9 at one point here in the second quarter and have made a run at this to go back up by 2. So we've had an 11-point swing. And at the end of the first half, we have a very, very good contest going here, with the Wildcats leading by 2. In a moment, we'll give you some stats, and then we'll take a break for halftime here. Okay, for the Montague Wildcats, the leading scorer is their big center Lindquist with 10 points and no personals, followed by Paul Schloff with 4, 6, 7, 8, 9 points and 1 personal. Rich Ergman has 7 points. Brad Van Bergen has no points, 1 personal. David Osborne has 3 and 2 personals. Jim Grieve has 3 points and 1 personal. For the Whitehall Vikings, Chip Williams has 6 points, 1 personal. Scott Corliss has 11, no personals. Paul Shannon has 2, no personals. Tom Cheesley with 2 points and 1. Mitch Foster has no points, 2 personal fouls. Andy Green has 7 points and no personal fouls. Scott Weaver has 2 points and 1 personal. And Michael Kirshen has 2 points and 2 personals. With that, we'll take a break. We'll resume at the beginning of the second half here. All right, we have both teams back on the court here warming up for the second half. Neither team is in foul trouble. The Wildcats committed 16 fouls in the first half. The Vikings had 7. We have 1 player for the Wildcats with 2 fouls, being David Osborne, and 2 for the Whitehall Vikings with 2, Mitch Foster and Michael Kirshen. At the end of the first quarter, the Vikings had a 6-point lead and stretched it out to as much as 9 at one point here in the second quarter, till the Wildcats made a run at it to put us at a 34-32 Montague Wildcat lead here to start the second half. Both teams talking it over now, getting ready to start the second half of play. Wildcats take the floor. Coach Griffin talking with his boys, and they take the floor now. The alternate possession will be the Vikings ball to start the second half here. Both teams have their starting lineups back in the game. Number 34, Andy Green, will inbound the ball for the Whitehall Vikings. Officials blow the whistle, and the second half is underway. Mitch Foster moves up, moves on the baseline, takes a little jumper there for 2, and the game is knotted at 34-34. Vikings back pressuring again, and we have a foul called here on number 34, Andy Green. That's Andy's first foul. Number 12, Paul Schloff, will inbound the ball for the Wildcats. Rich Erdman sets the offense up, brings it into the front court, being pressured by Chip Williams here. Erdman moves in, passes in. Number 34 doesn't go, and we have a breakaway here by number 22, Scott Corliss, for 2 more. And the Vikings go up by 2, 36-34. The Vikings again going back on this pressure defense of theirs, which created some real havoc for the Wildcats in the first half here. Rebound off to number 34, puts up a jumper, doesn't go. Chip Williams with a rebound, brings it into the front court for the Vikings. Chip sets up the offense here and says, let's go guys, let's move it around. Ball's into number 22, Corliss, who puts it up. Jumper doesn't go off the back of the iron. Rebound off to the Montague Wildcats. David Osborne puts one up from the top of the key, and it's a 3-pointer. And we have pressured on the inbounds, and the Whitehall Vikings turn the ball over to the Wildcats. Wildcats back up by 1, 37-36. Ball is inbounded number 30 to Osborne. Osborne has a nice feed behind the back there to number 22, Rich Erdman, doesn't convert, and the Vikings push the ball up court. Over to Andy Green, puts up a jumper out here from three-point land to return the favor. And the Vikings go up by 2, 39-37. Vikings again pressuring this Wildcat team. Ball is put up. And number 52 off the rim. Rebound off the glass to number 34, Jim Grieve. And we have a foul called on number 34, Andy Green. Andy Green's second. It's Andy's second, team second of the second half, puts number 34, Jim Grieve. Jim will be shooting 2 here. First one is up, and he drops it. Make the score 39-38 in favor of the Vikings. Second one is up, and he drops that one for bring the score to 39-39. Vikings pressuring, or being pressured, I should say, by the Wildcats. Over to Mitch Foster. Foster goes, thoughts, doesn't put the ball up. Near steal there by number 12. And we have a 3-pointer put up by Chip Williams. And the Vikings go up by 3, a score of 42-39 with 6 minutes left in the third period here. Montague brings the ball up court, had a good feed in there to number 34, Jim Grieve, who fails to convert. The ball is out of bounds. Off the hands of the Vikings will be the Montague Wildcats ball inbound. Passes in, off the hands of number 50, Tor Lindquist. Rebound is off the glass and controlled by Andy Green. Vikings bring the ball up, over to Green, puts up another 3-pointer there. An exhibition here of some good outside shooting by both teams, with the Vikings converting 3 of them here to go up by a score of 6, 45-39. Right now we're not seeing the boards being crashed real hard by the Wildcats, and the Vikings coming up with some good offense or defensive rebounds here. Vikings fail to convert. And the Wildcats back on the attack. Jumper put up out here by number 22 off the rim. Rebound off to number 44, Michael Kirshen. Passes it down to Chip Williams. Chip drives the lane, puts it up, fails to convert, and the rebound is off to by number 34, Grieve. Osborne pushes the ball up court, doesn't find an opening, kicks it back out to number 22, Rich Erdman. Osborne puts up a 3-pointer, doesn't go down. Rebound to Jim Grieve, who puts the ball back up and converts for 2. It looked like we were going to throw it away, and we had an excellent save there by number 22, Scott Corliss, who kicks the ball back into Chip Williams for the Vikings. Chip pushes it into Mitch Foster, who puts up a shot. It doesn't go, and the Vikings lose the rebound there. Number 12, Schloff puts the ball down. Lindquist fails to convert, gets his rebound, and puts it back up, and does convert this time. Mitch Foster with the ball, brings it up court, being guarded by number 12, Paul Schloff. Bergman comes over to help out, passes over to Chip Williams, who puts up a jumper out there off the front of the rim, rebound off to number 34, Grieve. Schloff brings the ball up, passes into number 52 there, who converts on a nice feed from Schloff. Andy Lindquist converts to bring the score back to 45-45 with 3:45 left in the third period. Vikings call a timeout here to get their game back on track here. 3:45 to go in the third quarter. We have a 45-45 game. The Vikings have 2 team fouls at this point. The Montague Wildcats have none. The Wildcats are working their fast break here and getting some excellent position by their big center here, Randy Lindquist, who's converted some nice ones here. Lindquist working real hard under the boards tonight, too. He's come up with a couple of rebounds there and missed shots to convert. Wildcats come back on the floor. Buzzer sounds, and the Vikings take the court. 3:45 left in the third period. It'll be the Vikings ball inbound. Tom Cheesley in the lineup along with Paul Shannon and number 40, Scott Weaver. Corliss brings the ball up, feeds over to Cheesley, and Cheesley looks to set up the offense. Cheesley working on Paul Schloff here. Gives up the dribble, feeds into Scott Weaver. Weaver turns around. Ball's partially deflected by number 32 there. And the rebound goes off the hands of the Wildcats. It'll be Vikings ball inbound. Brad Van Bergen back in the lineup for the Wildcats. Corliss makes the move, doesn't get it. Rebound is controlled there by Michael Kirshen. Follows up the missed shot, and we have a foul called here on number 44, Mike Kirshen. That'll be Mike's third, the team's third. The Wildcats ball inbound into Brad Van Bergen. Van Bergen pushes it up to number 30, Osborne. Osborne feeds it in. Back out to Osborne, who sets up the offense. And we have a lane violation called here on the Wildcats. Turn the ball over back to the Vikings again. Tom Cheesley will inbound the ball for the Vikings. Scott Corliss with the ball, brings it up, passes back to Tom Cheesley. Tom advances the ball into the front court across the timeline. Tom working on Paul Schloff there, reached by Paul. Deflects it back out, kicks it out to Kirshen. Kirshen over to Paul Shannon, who puts up a three-pointer off the front of the rim, a bit short, and Lindquist controls the rebound. Looks to get a fast break going here, doesn't quite convert it out. Kicks it down to number 24, Van Bergen, who puts up a two-pointer, put the Wildcats up by 2. Scott Weaver with a missed shot, or rebound off the missed shot there by Corliss, and drops it to tie the game at 47-47. And we have a charge called here on number 32, Scott Thumser. That's Scott's first. We have feet inbounds. To Mike Kirshner, a nice lead pass. Michael fails to convert, but is fouled. And we'll go to the line shooting 2. The foul will be on number 32, Thumser for the Cats. That's his second one. He picks up 2 real quick ones here. Puts number 44, Michael Kirshen, at the line. Michael will be shooting 2. Coming back into the lineup would be number 34, Jim Greaves. Thumser will get a rest here. Also coming back into the lineup is number 22, Rich Erdman. We'll give Paul Schloff a rest. Mike puts the first one up. It's a little bit long off the back of the iron. It doesn't go down. And with 2:10 left in the third period, we have a 47-47 game. Mike eyes the basket. Second one up, and that's long. Rebound controlled by number 34, Jim Grieve for the Wildcats. Brad Van Bergen brings the ball up, passes over to Osborne. Back over to Osborne, puts up a long one out there, doesn't go down. Rebound off to Tom Cheesley, who pushes the ball up court. Tom looks to get a fast break started. Puts up a shot that doesn't go. Rebound is off to number 40, Weaver, doesn't sink it. Finally controlled by number 24, Brad Van Bergen. Van Bergen drives the lane and goes in for two more. Careless pass there by the Vikings on the inbound. Turned it over, but no foul, no harm there. Shot was put up by number 30, Osborne. Doesn't sink it, and the Vikings go back on the offense. Cheesley brings the ball across the timeline, looks to set up the offense again. Passes over to Paul Shannon. Back out to Tom. Over to Weaver. Weaver looks back, doesn't get anything. Three-pointer put up here by Cheesley. A little bit long. And the Wildcats control the rebound. Dave Osborne brings it into the front court, kicks it down to Brad Van Bergen, puts up a three-pointer, doesn't go. Rebound off to number 52, Lindquist, who puts up for two. Put the Wildcats up by a score 51-47. Corliss drives the line here, and we have a foul called on number 52, Randy Lindquist. Put Corliss at the line, shooting two. That'll be Lindquist's first foul on the night. Both teams with 3 team fouls. Coming into the lineup will be number 32 for the Whitehall Vikings, Mitch Foster, and number 44, John Flynn for the Montague Wildcats. At the line will be number 22, Scott Corliss, shooting two. Scott puts the first one up, sinks it, and it's now a three-point game. 51-48 in favor of the Wildcats. Scott eyes the basket. Puts the second one up, and he sinks that. And 46 seconds left in the third period. We now have a two-point game, 51-49 in favor of the Wildcats. Andy Green re-enters the lineup for the Vikings, and the Montague Wildcats bring the ball up court. And we have a steal here by the Vikings with 36 seconds left. Paul Shannon brings the ball into the front court. Passes over to Tom Cheesley, who says, number one here, guys, let's move on it. Mitch Foster works the baseline. Doesn't get it, kicks it out to Paul Shannon. Puts up a two-pointer out there, and we have a 51-51 game. Vikings back again, pressuring here all full court. And we have another turnover here. Mitch Foster with the ball, brings it into the front court, and with 10 seconds left in the third period, the Vikings are going to bring it up. Oh, we have a bad call here. Had a deflected ball, it's ruled out of bounds off the hands of the Vikings. And it'll be Montague's ball with 6 seconds left here in the third period. Look to bring it up. Shot is up, and it doesn't go. No shot. So at the end of the third period, we have a 51-51 game. Both teams playing excellent, excellent ball here. With 8 minutes left in this contest, it's anybody's game right now. Both teams playing excellent ball. I think maybe the Vikings playing a little bit better pitch tonight than what they've been against the Wildcats, and maybe this has got the Wildcats confused a little bit. The winner of this game will go on to the final on Saturday night, who will play Mason County Central, who defeated the Shelby Tigers last night by a 3-point score of 62-59. Right now, the only man that has any foul problems at all is Michael Kirshen with 3 fouls. No other player on either team has more than 2. Teams take the court to begin the second, fourth, and final period here. It'll be the Wildcats ball inbound. Ball is inbounded to Van Bergen. Van Bergen kicks the ball back out to number 30, Dave Osborne. Osborne over to Van Bergen. Looks to work the baseline, doesn't get anything. Back out to number 30 here. We've got some real fighting going on underneath the basket here for the rebounds. And we have a foul called on number 32, Mitch Foster. That's Mitch's third. It'll be the fourth team foul of the second half here. It'll be Wildcats ball inbound. Van Bergen passes into Paul Schloff, who puts up a long one, doesn't go. Rebound off to the Wildcats. And we have a two-pointer put up by Jim Grieve there. Put the Wildcats up by 2, 53-51. Tom Cheesley looks to get the offense rolling here for the Vikings. Kicks it out to Weaver. Weaver at the top of the key. And we have a lane violation here called on the Whitehall Vikings. Wildcats will inbound the ball to side court. Paul Schloff looks to set it up. Kicks it into Van Bergen, back out to Schloff. Schloff brings it up, it's trapped. Passes over the top of the trap here. Back over to Schloff, drives the baseline, and it doesn't go, and we have a foul called here on number 40, Scott Weaver for the Vikings. That's the Vikings' 15th foul. And with 7 minutes left in the contest, we'll put the Wildcats in the bonus situation. Coming in the lineup, number 44 will be Michael Kirshen, and number 22 for the Vikings, Scott Corliss. Number 12, Paul Schloff, will be at the line. Paul will be shooting 2. First one is up, it's off the rim. And with 7:11 left in the game, it's a 53-51 Wildcat lead. Paul eyes the basket, second one is up, and he drops it through. Put the Wildcats up by 3, 54-51. Paul Shannon bringing the ball into the front court, kicks it over to Cheesley. Cheesley sets the offense back up. Back over to Shannon, feeds it down to Andy Green. Green makes a baseline move, puts it up, doesn't go. And the ball is up by number 22, Corliss. It doesn't go, but we have a foul called here on the Wildcats. Foul is a number 34, Jim Grieve. That'll be the Wildcats' 4th team foul. That's Jim's 2nd foul. Coming back into the lineup, number 10, Chip Williams for the Whitehall Vikings. Corliss at the line, shooting 2. First one is up and good. Makes it a 54-52 Wildcat game. Corliss eyes the basket for the second one. Puts it up, and it's good. With 6:52 left in the game, it's a 54-53 Wildcat lead. Wildcats push the ball into the front court. Osborne with the ball, kicks it back out to Van Bergen. Van Bergen to the top of the key, trapping here, kicks it back over to Osborne. Osborne drives the baseline, it's cut off there by Kirshen, kicks it back out to Van Bergen. Van Bergen at the top of the key, goes to drive, kicks it over to Schloff. Shut off there, Schloff drives the key and goes up with a good move for 2. Chip Williams with the ball to bring it into the front court. Guarded by Schloff, gets it across the timeline, and the Vikings are back on the attack. Passes it into Kirshen. Kirshen goes up, and we have a foul called here on number 52, Randy Lindquist. That'll be Randy's 2nd, the team's 5th. We'll put Michael Kirshen at the line, shooting 2. With 6:06 left in the game, we have a 56-53 Montague Wildcat lead. Mike sets himself. It's the first one up. It's a little bit strong off the back of the rim. Coming back into the lineup, number 22, Rich Ergman for the Montague Wildcats. Number 34, Jim Grieve will take a breather here. Kirshen eyes the line, puts the second one up, and he drops it to make the score 56-54 with 6:06 left in the game. Montague passing the ball well to bring it into the front court here. Shot is put up, short, and the rebound is off to the Vikings. A good feed here into Andy Green, who puts a baseline jumper up for two. And we have a 56-56 game. Ball is put up by number 30, David Osborne, and Montague Wildcats go back up by two. Chip Williams brings the ball across the timeline, puts it up to Corliss. Corliss down on the baseline. The three-pointers put up down there by number 24, Paul Shannon. And the Vikings go up by one. Wildcats try to drive the lane here. Turned it over, and the Vikings return the favor with a nice interception by number 52, Lindquist. And we have a foul called here on number 22, Rich Ergman. Will put Chip Williams at the line, shooting 1-1. That'll be Rich Ergman's first foul on the night. Coming back into the lineup, number 34 for the Wildcats, Jim Grieve. Chip Williams will go to the line, shooting 1-1. With 5:09 left in the game, it's a 60-59 Montague lead. Chip eyes the basket. First one is up, and it's good. And we have a tie game with 60-60. The Vikings definitely play much, much better ball tonight than they did in the last Friday night's game. Chip puts the second one up, and he sinks it to put the Vikings back up by one. Neither team able to establish a dominance here. And pass is intercepted here by number 22, Scott Corliss. And the Vikings back on the attack again. Williams here being pressured by number 22, Rich Ergman. Passes over to Shannon, back out to Williams. Vikings looking to set it up. Paul Shannon with the ball, looks to come in, kicks it back out to Chip Williams. Vikings again looking to spread it out, maybe get a better shot or open a back door up here. We have a long shot put up out there by Shannon, doesn't go. The rebound off to number 52, Randy Lindquist. Lead pass down court is deflected out of bounds by number 24, Paul Shannon, and we have a timeout called by the Montague Wildcats. With 4:30 left in the contest, the Whitehall Vikings are back up on top by a score of 61-60. Both teams playing with a very high level of intensity tonight. Both defenses working very, very hard out there. Right now, leading scorer in the game is Lindquist for the Wildcats with 18, followed by Scott Corliss with 17, and Andy Green with 15. With 4:30 left in the contest, the Wildcats will inbound the ball. Number 24, Brad Van Bergen, to put the ball in play here. Passes it in to David Osborne. Osborne looks to drive the key, stops short, puts up a jumper for two, and the Wildcats back up by one. Chip Williams takes it coast to coast, doesn't get it. And we have a foul called here on number 24 for the Vikings, Paul Shannon. We put number 52, Randy Lindquist, at the line, shooting 1-1. That's Paul's first foul. Both teams in the bonus at this point, so from here on out we'll be shooting the 1-1. Lindquist, a 6'6" senior out there, puts the first one up off the iron, no good. Rebound off to Andy Green, and the Vikings back on the attack. Ball's down to number 22, Corliss. Looks to put off the jumper, doesn't get the clean shot, kicks it back out to Paul Shannon. Chip Williams at the top of the key, sets it up over to Andy Green. Andy Green feeds it here, and we have a foul called on number 52, David Osborne. That'll be Randy Lindquist. That'll be Randy's third foul. We'll put number 44, Michael Kirshen, at the line for the Vikings, shooting 1-1. With 3:57 left in the contest, it's a 62-61 game in favor of the Montague Wildcats. Coming back into the lineup for the Vikings, number 30, Tom Cheesley. Taking a rest will be number 24, Paul Shannon. Kirshen eyes the basket, sets, puts the first one up. Again, long off the rim, and the rebound controlled by the Wildcats. We have a three-pointer put up out here by number 12, Paul Schloff. Doesn't go, and we have a foul called on number 24, Brad Van Bergen. That'll be Brad's second. It'll put number 10, Chip Williams, at the line. Shooting 1-1 will be Chip Williams. Chip has been shooting very well tonight. If I remember right, Chip was about 6 for 6 from the line the other night. And I put the jinx on him possibly. Rebound is off to Kirshen. Puts it up, doesn't go. Follows through, and we have another foul called here. Put Kirshen back on the line. Kirshen will be shooting 2. The foul's on number 52, Lindquist. That's Lindquist's 4th personal foul. This could be a factor in the game because Lindquist is their big man under the basket tonight. Mike will be at the line, shooting 2 now. 3:39 left in the game. It's now tied at 62-62. Second one is up and good, and the Vikings go up on top by 1. Vikings again pressuring at full court. Kicks the ball down. Osborne moves on the basket, pulls up short, puts up a jumper for 2, and the Wildcats take a 1-point lead. A long feed pass now to Kirshen. Doesn't quite control the ball, travels, and we turn it over. And we have a timeout called here by the Montague Wildcats. With 3:23 left in the contest, the Wildcats are up by 1, 64-63. It was an excellent lead pass that time down, and if Kirshen had controlled it, it would have been a beautiful play for the Vikings. Both teams playing very, very well right now. One thing I probably should note is that both teams have very, very strong following, and it's kind of nice to hear the school spirits coming out. One side will yell loud, and the other side will yell louder. And the other side will yell a little louder, so you can't ask for a better crowd tonight. All the fans into this contest as well as the players tonight. Okay, with 3:23 left in the contest, the Wildcats will inbound the ball. Paul Schloff with the ball. Sets it up. We'll throw the ball in to number 30, David Osborne. Osborne pushes the ball up court. Being pressured here, kicks it across to number 52, Lindquist. Back out to Osborne, over to Schloff. Okay. Wildcats changing their tactic, looking to pull the Vikings out a little bit, hoping to open up this Viking defense a little bit, maybe hoping to get a back door here. Cheesley pressuring the ball out there. Vikings playing a 2-2-1. A good feed into number 52 there. Randy Lindquist, who converts, put the Wildcats up by 3. Chip Williams brings the ball down, feeds it into Michael Kirshen. And we have a traveling call called here on Michael Kirshen. Mike looks at the referee, says, "I don't think so, sir, but if you say so, I guess it is." Osborne with the ball, kicks it over to Brad Van Bergen. Van Bergen back out to Osborne, being pressured by Cheesley. Osborne drives the baseline, gets a move, puts up the shot, and it's fouled by number 44, Michael Kirshen. That'll be Mike's fourth. So both big guys now. Kirshen, number 44 with 4 on it, and number 52, Lindquist with 4. Put number 30, David Osborne, at the line. Dave will be shooting 2. And we have a timeout called by the Vikings with 2:23 left in the game. Both coaches working real hard with their players down here, trying to set up their offenses and defenses here with 2:23 left in the game for the stretch run. Okay, the teams take the court. Number 30, David Osborne, a 6'2" senior for the Wildcats, will be at the line. Dave will be shooting 2. Dave eyes the basket. First one is up, and it's off the front of the rim, rolls around and drops off the backside. Dave shooting the second one. Ball is up in play, rolls off, and the rebound's controlled by number 44, Mike Kirshen for the Wildcats. So the Vikings dodge a bullet there, come back on the offense. Chip Williams looking to work it in, kicks it back out to Kirshen at the top. Williams again looking to set the offense up. Trying to get some motion going here. Feeds it into Corliss. Corliss makes a move, puts up a jumper, and it's good. 1:57 left in the game. It's a 65-66 game. Paul Schloff brings the ball down court, drives down on the baseline, feeds it across to Lindquist, who doesn't have a shot, kicks it back out to Brad Van Bergen. Both teams being very patient. A good drive in on the baseline with a feed off to Lindquist, who converts for 2. And the Wildcats go up 68-65. Corliss working the baseline, puts up another one. An excellent drive on the baseline, moves around, and we're back to a 1-point game, 68-67. Vikings again pressuring full court, trapping here. And Dave Osborne sets up the offense. Dave gets an opening, moves on the baseline, feeds into number 34, Jim Grieve, but we have a foul called here on number 34 for the Vikings, Andy Green. That's Andy's 3rd foul, and we'll put number 34, Jim Grieve, at the line. And we have a timeout called by the Whitehall Vikings. With 1:05 left in the game, the Montague Wildcats up by 1, 68-67. The Vikings have 1 timeout remaining, and the Montague Wildcats have 2. It's a definite advantage setting on this side of the court tonight, broadcasting this game, because you get to see the calls of these officials, and no question about who the fouls are on or how many timeouts are left. Also, this is a very excellent facility here at Hart. Both teams coming back onto the court. Number 34, Jim Grieve, will be at the line. First one is up, and it's good. Wildcats up by 2. Jim sets himself, eyes the basket, puts a second one up. It's off, no good. Rebound here, off, and we have a foul called on number 52, Randy Lindquist. That'll be number 5 on Lindquist. Randy's played a very strong game for the Wildcat and leaves the game with 22 points for the Wildcats tonight. Randy gets a very, very good hand here and a very well-deserved hand from these fans here. He'll set down with 5 personals tonight and 22 points and a very strong game under the boards. Coming into the lineup will be number first one is up there by Kirshen. And he sinks it to bring the game to a 1-point game in favor of the Montague Wildcats with 1:02 left in the contest. Second one is up, off the rim. Rebound to Corliss, puts it up, doesn't go. Rebound off to the Wildcats. With 56 seconds left in the game, it's a 69-68 Montague lead. Osborne with the ball, looks to bring it in, kicks it over to number 12, Paul Schloff. Schloff drives the lane, puts up a shot, and it's good. And it's 71-68 in favor of the Wildcats. Vikings push the ball up court. Tom Cheesley puts one up. And it's a 3-pointer tying the game at 71-71. And we have a foul after the shot called here. We have a correction now. The official's saying that's a 2-point shot, which makes it a 71-70 game in favor of the Montague Wildcats with 30 seconds left in the contest. Foul was called after the basket on number 44, Michael Kirshen. That'll be Mike's 5th, and he'll set down now, having played a very strong game tonight for the Vikings. Mike only has 6 points on the night, but a very, very strong game under the boards for the Vikings. And with 30 seconds left in the game, number 34, Jim Grieve, will be at the line for the Wildcats. Scott Weaver re-enters the lineup for the Vikings. And with 30 seconds left in the game, the Wildcats are at the line, will be shooting 1-1. And the Montague Wildcats take a timeout. Both fans working real hard out here from both sides of the court, trying to get their teams inspired here. And with 30 seconds left in the game, very much up for grabs by either team. The Wildcats will be at the line shooting 1-1. And right now we're up by 1. Jim Grieve sets himself at the line, eyes the basket. Looks to put the first one up, and the intensity just raises to fever pitch here. He sinks the first one to put the Wildcats up by 2 with 30 seconds left in the contest. Wildcats have dropped 2 back for defensive purposes with only 2 men up there to rebound. Second one is up, and it's good. Cheesley puts the ball into Williams. Williams pushes the ball up court. Over to Andy Green. Green looks to kick it back out. Tom Cheesley with the ball. Vikings working hard. It looks like they want this three-pointer. Kicks it out to Chip Williams. 13 seconds left in the game. Puts up a long one. It goes off the rim, and the rebound's controlled here by the Wildcats. And we have a reach-in called here on number 22, Scott Corliss. Should put number 30, David Osborne, at the line with 6 seconds left in the game. And Montague takes their final timeout with 6 seconds left on the clock and a 3-point advantage. A little bit of confusion here by these officials tonight. The Vikings have 1 timeout remaining. The Wildcats have used their last one now. Wildcats need to convert on the front end of this 1-and-1, which would pretty much ice the game with 6 seconds left on the clock. However, if they don't, the Vikings have the opportunity to come down, put up a 3-pointer to tie the game, to put it into overtime. So at this point, the game is still up for grabs. David Osborne will be at the line, shooting 1-and-1. And the Vikings take a timeout here. Vikings spend their last timeout. Coach Griffin taking a look at the defense as it was set up by the Wildcats. Now sets up his offense in the event that the rebound comes off to him. Wildcats come out and pull 4 men back to set up to deny the Vikings a shot here, hopefully to prevent them from taking a 3-pointer should they fail to convert on the front end of this 1-and-1. Both coaches talking over their players, telling them what we want done here. Coach Griffin telling his boys that in the event of a rebound, we kick it down, we take this 3-pointer. Coach Tate, on the other hand, saying meet these guys at midcourt, don't allow them to get this 3-pointer off. Wildcats take the court, and again, set up with 4 men back, and Dave Osborne moves up to the line. The Vikings drop 2 men back, put only 3 men up on the line. Corliss and Weaver to rebound, Green to take the shooter here. Osborne eyes it, puts the first one up, and he sinks it. With 6 seconds left in the game, he puts the Wildcats up by 4, 74-70. Sets himself, eyes the basket, puts the second one up, and it goes through. With 6 seconds left in the game, we're getting a little bit of pressure here. The ball's deflected out of bounds by number 24, Brad Van Bergen. Scott Weaver pushes the ball into Tom Cheesley. Tom brings the ball up across the timeline, puts up a shot at the buzzer. It doesn't go, and the Vikings fall victim 75-70 to the Montague Wildcats. The Wildcats will advance to the final on Saturday night against the Mason County Central Spartans to play in the championship round at 7:30 here at Hart High School. The Vikings, playing one of their strongest games of the year, put up a very valiant effort tonight. Some very disappointed Vikings out there, but they need to hold their heads very high. Both teams played a very, very excellent game. Neither team could consider themselves a loser tonight. In a moment, we'll have some scoring totals here for the two teams. On the night for the Montague Wildcats, leading scorer was Randy Lindquist with 22 points, followed by Paul Schloff with 14 and Brad Van Vergen with 14. Rich Erdman had 7. Excuse me, that was David Osborne with 14. Brad Van Vergen had 4, and Jim Grieve with 12, and J.J. Flynn with 2. For the Whitehall Vikings, leading scorer was Scott Corliss with 21, Andy Green with 15, followed by Chip Williams with 11, Paul Shannon with 7, Tom Cheesley with 4, Mitch Foster with 2, and Scott Weaver with 4. The Vikings committed 17 team fouls on a night versus 16 for the Montague Wildcats. Well, we want to wish the Wildcats good luck in their championship contest against the Mason County Central Spartans on Saturday night. Thank you for joining us tonight, and we'll see you on Saturday.